Really?
No, I'm very like risk averse. I'm not like a follow my heart and like leave my benefits and do all that stuff. I'm not like that at all. So it took, like a year and a half,
Got it.
2 years. And then I got asked to act in a show actually in LA. And I was like, I can't, I have no more PTO. I probably should. And it's just like managing expectations. Like if you want to be a millionaire and have all these riches and successes and be able to have control of your schedule and do these things, you need to work hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
A lot of people were asking me like, when do you know when to leave your job to do content full time?
Oh my God.
And this is
Oh
an
my God,
intern
the
conference
epidemic.
where their bosses are in the audience. I'm like, this is a hot mic. Your boss is here. Like you're gonna ask me that on stage right
That's
now.
this guy.
I was shocked. And they're so confident, and they like, I was like, you have to figure out your finances first. You have to figure out a lot of things before you take that jump. And you're an intern right now, so you haven't even gone into the full-time portion.
Great. Okay, so thanks for joining us.
Yes, of
We were-
course.
We thought you weren't going to make it. We were getting excited.
I had
He was getting
please.
excited. I was like, no, we need to wait for Andy. He
Thank
brings
you.
the heart, and he
Thank
was
you.
like, fuck that guy.
Well, I was at the craziest showing right now. I showed a guy like this massive listing, and I was.
Was it the townhouse?
Yeah, the townhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How
So
much?
It's $18.5 million.
Jesus.
And I'm like I start showing it from the top down. So I was on like the 4th floor.
You
and-
take everyone in the elevator, you go to the top, so
Yeah.
you start at the roof. So
and I
first
always say,
impression.
my line is always like, we don't want to fight gravity, do we? And they're like, ha.
Wow. Well,
And
that's
that
your
works?
line.
And you get a laugh?
Maybe
But
find
it
a new
works.
line. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
But
I would.
anyways, I'm on the 4th floor, and the guy hasn't even seen the rest of the house, and he's like, let's put an offer in. And I'm like,
Whoa.
dude, you haven't seen the best room yet, the kitchen.
Is it a real buyer?
I mean, it was with someone that.
A real broker?
Yeah, a real broker and everything. Yeah. So we'll see how that turns out.
Andy got this lead through TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Today's
Wow.
guest is the CEO of Work From Home Jokes. She's got over 1 million followers across TikTok and Instagram, blowing up everywhere. She's the voice of work from home culture, which is so fitting that we're doing this in our office. And she's the guiding light to those navigating post-graduation. Did you go to college?
I never graduated.
Okay, God damn it. She recently co-founded a virtual assistant business, which I definitely want to talk about because I think that's huge, with her roommate that works to pair people interested in the creator economy with influencers needing administrative assistance. Corporate Natalie, welcome to Business of Influence.
Thank you.
Was that okay?
That was awesome. I
Okay,
did not
cool.
show an $18 million listing today, unfortunately. So maybe, not as interesting, but happy to be here.
Who are you? What is
Literally.
You're from Silicon Valley?
Yes. Born and raised.
Nice.
I've always read the Forbes 30 under 30 list. My dad worked in tech and would come home and tell me about all the new companies. And
So that's been your life.
that's
right?
been my life. Yeah. Like Mark Zuckerberg's the idol minus his entire personality. But
Got it.
that would be
Wow.
the goal of founding a tech company.
And you grew up in proper Silicon Valley,
Palo Alto. Not in the city.
Do you meet a lot of people from there in the city, like in New York?
Do I meet a lot of people here? Yeah.
Yeah, from there.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
know. It just seems like a.
Two different worlds.
It's like a different world.
No,
like
it's two
tech.
totally different
Yeah.
worlds. You're in a suit right now. I've never seen that in my life. We would wear t-shirts. Yeah. I thought I
do
got
wear
dressed up.
t-shirts. Yeah, I was in San Francisco, like I said, on Saturday, and I was the only person in a suit.
Fully.
It was
Yeah.
it was always uncomfortable. I was like, everyone was like, oh, dad's here. Like security's in town, right? Like the people were coming up to me asking me like, hey, kid, for my drink orders and stuff. It was weird.
We need to rebrand you, dude. I mean, keep the blazer. You do the t-shirt thing now.
I
which
do
is
the t-shirt
cool.
thing a lot.
And sneakers.
It
Gotta get
appears we're on
sneakers.
And
two
you got a
very
nice
different
coat.
vibes here. We have cargo pants and a t-shirt
Yeah.
and a hat. And then
Because he finds things outside and he puts them in his big pockets and he saves them and he makes content over them.
You got a haircut.
I did get a haircut. I'm the balance. I keep everything and everyone balanced.
you're the balance. Okay.
Egos, less of an ego.
Got it.
So I kind of want to start with, and we'll get to kind of your accounts and kind of what's happened and where you've gone to from there. But it seems like you were born with an entrepreneurial spirit / spoon / know-how, right? Have you always wanted to just go out there and do your own thing and figure it out?
Yeah, definitely. I think I grew up as the kid. I would have off-season lemonade stands. I would have car washes.
What's an off-season
It's
lemonade
not a real
stand?
thing. It'd be
Whoa.
December 1st, and I'd be like, "Mom, can I set up the table?" We lived
Got
in
it.
a cul-de-sac. No one came. It was just
The weather's
horrible
nice there
business
year-round, right?
ideas. Not nice.
Not Bay Area.
Bay
You're thinking
Area is
LA.
a little colder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But car washes, I would kill all my parents' plants in their front yard. I was just always kind of grinding and hustling. I founded a jewelry company in college that I had reps at 10 different universities selling my jewelry. And then I started doing stupid videos online, and I was like, wow, you can actually make money doing this.
What platform did you start on? YouTube?
I started on TikTok.
Okay.
Really short form, just like quick bits about working from home. Started in 2020. And then brands, like big B2B brands, because I was doing corporate stuff like Dell and SoFi, reached out to me and wanted to partner with, they're like, launching their first influencer marketing campaign. So it's been super fun to speak to these B2B brands on socials in a way that has been kind of new and fun.
So I guess take us back to like pandemic happens. Did you just graduate college, or what was what's that time frame like for you?
Yeah, so I was working in consulting. I was traveling across the country. I was actually staffed in New Jersey, so I came like every Sunday to Thursday here. And I say, like, when we were just talking about Gen Z new hires, like there's BC, the people who worked in the real world before COVID, and AC,
yes,
those who just are used to like a virtual college experience that like haven't been in the grind of the office. Maybe your office is a little different, which we'll talk about the office culture here. But I think, so I got that real world experience and seeing like partners at a big four consulting firm be in like their suits and on Zoom, and just who have been traveling every day for the past 35 years. That was such a shift, and it was hilarious, and I had to poke fun at it.
So how do you think people should track success then with employees? Like, don't you get that pushback all the time?
So it's interesting. I think I'd love to hear your take on like Gen Z employees. I think since COVID, there's this pressure and this push of like work-life balance, mental health. And like, it's just when you came from this world before, like older millennial like bosses are like, well, that wasn't the way we had it. So I'm not going to all of a sudden shift that
all day long.
Yeah. And tell me your perspective. Like, what is
that's
like get up or get out? Like give it to us.
It's like get up or get out. I mean, it definitely depends on the person. Like we definitely have people where I don't see them ever, but their work is awesome. They know what to do and they do it, and they're self-starters. But I think it's just like school, right? Like you have some schools that are super progressive, and it's like pick what you want to study, be what you want to be. If you identify as a leaf, be a leaf, and it's like it's fine. But some kids excel in that. Some kids have a really, really hard time, and they need discipline and they need structure, you know. And so I think it's just hard because I think work culture is so important to strong companies, and if it's hard to create culture completely virtually.
Totally.
Just,
I agree.
It's just hard.
Especially at scale. Because when we started the pandemic, I was telling you, we were still in office for the most part. I don't know if we're supposed to say that, but like, because
we were breaking all the laws.
We were breaking all the laws, but we were building something.
Tiny,
we had like we had a townhouse like in Tribeca, and we were just all together all the time, putting in crazy hours, but like no one gave a fuck. We were all just like building this thing. And like it almost felt impossible to work from home for us, at least.
Yeah, it was too much going on. It was too hard. We definitely did have people virtual. We have people virtual now. So we have employees in 19 states now. So our employee handbook is super annoying. But then HQ is definitely still in New York. And then we have great people that we've been able to bring in other places. Like we have a president in Texas, or CTOs in Florida. We have a lot of people in California.
Yeah. And I say it's like all about transparency. Like I think the work culture is awesome. And if you're just transparent about it, of like, we're going to be in the office 5 days a week, maybe even 6, like it's going to be a grind. You're going to be here and you better show up at 6 a.m. Like that's the culture that you're putting out. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like, there are people that want to be part of it, want to make a ton of money, want to show the $18 million listing. And like those people should be able to work here. And that's like the culture.
So do you think though that work culture has changed forever? Or do you think we eventually go back to hey, it's a recession, things are pretty bad, you should come back to work now because I need to be able to monitor you and make sure you're doing your job?
We're seeing that now though, right? I feel like there's that like big return to office.
In New York,
there's a big return to office. And I think real estate, all my friends in real estate, it's like the one, your whole job is proving that, especially commercial real estate, you need to be in the office. And we're selling huge office buildings in San Francisco that are vacant and no one wants.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
So they're in the financial district, my friends in her heels, stepping over like homeless people, trying to be like, it's beautiful, I promise. And like, that's so tough. Like so there's different working structures. And like, if you work in tech and you're an engineer and your presence in the office isn't necessary, I think that's okay to have that flexibility. But it just depends. So I think sales for sure, like you should be in the office a little bit.
How long did you work within the pre-COVID world?
About a little over a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never got to experience that.
Really?
I was working as a server. I had like 2 jobs as a server. And then this was like my first like real
That
job.
explains so much to
It
me.
all makes sense.
Did you guys not read his resume before he
Some
got
resumes with salespeople.
No.
We found him on TikTok.
I love that. Okay, amazing.
Yeah, he's running around looking at real estate on TikTok, small things. I'm like, don't you want to show big things? He's like, oh yeah, and he's been here ever since.
Can't get rid of him. Okay, sorry.
That's incredible.
Take me back. 2020, the world's on fire. You have an inkling to like make a video and upload to this platform. Were you already like on this platform just like as a consumer, or did you like think I eventually want to do this? Now's the perfect time. Like, walk me through that.
Yeah, no, not calculated at all. It was, I downloaded the app the same day. I was like, these girls just set up a ring light and film them, so I can totally do this. And I made a video the first day I downloaded the app and sent it to my friends and was like, I'm going to be famous, just so you know, like as a joke. But then it turned out it worked. But I think I had like the confidence, which is just like I tell everyone now, of if you want to be a creator, you want to be an influencer, you want to do these things, you have to film yourself and not care how you look and just post. And there's that block, and I just didn't have that like confidence block, which was helpful in the beginning.
And enthusiasm too. I remember the first video that I saw about you, funny enough, it was like you see your neighbor across the street or whatever, and you write a sign, you're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You want to be friends? And she's like, no. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
That was a cool. That's when I first heard of you.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that was fun. Fun fact about that video was it was fully planned, as is every other video ever. She was my friend and I gave her the signs. So that was, I'm sorry to burst your bubble on that. But
Damn.
that was when I started figuring out kind of the
You're just
the
full
inside.
of good news today, aren't you?
No, like any prank video you see is fake, right? Like we all can agree on that.
Yeah. No,
Listen,
I know.
don't ruin my day.
Like
okay?
sneaking up on my wife. She has no idea. She set up the tripod. How's the ring light on? How's the ring light on?
Exactly.
Okay.
Some of them are pulled off pretty well, though.
Yeah.
Some of them
100%.
are pulled off well, but then you're like, I feel like someone would be in trouble if that were real.
Yeah.
You know, these things that happen. We should do more
Totally.
prank videos on Andy, I feel
That would be funny. That should just be like a reoccurring segment. We just like, I don't know.
Please no.
Yeah.
Like we just show up at PJ's
Please
one day.
no.
We're like, dude, did you not get the memo?
What's
It's
the-
PJ day.
For Halloween, I was gonna dress up as Ryan. I was gonna get my hair white and come to the podcast before Halloween. I was just gonna pretend I was Ryan.
Why did you do it?
Why didn't you do
I
it?
didn't do it.
I know
Well,
you didn't
clearly,
do it,
but
'cause
why
you're telling
did
you
you
about
do
it right
it?
now.
I just didn't have time. I
Wow.
wanted to do it next
What a-
year.
what a-
He's stuck here grinding away.
Yeah.
You think it's
There
time
it
to get
is.
his hair done?
Oh, yeah.
So when did you start taking it seriously? You did like how many TikToks did you post before you're like, oh shit, this is like 1 million people like watching it? Like,
Yeah.
what was that?
It was more when the brand deal started, and that starts very early, like 10,000 followers on TikTok. You're getting reached out to. My first brand deal was Twisted Tea,
Love.
when I was obsessed. I was like, I drank these all the time in college, and I just started realizing kind of the game of it all and the sales of it all, and
Yeah.
having a bit of a sales background. Like, oh, I can build a media kit, and I can sort of rep myself and build a fake email account that's my assistant that I can send it over to, and like I just had so much fun navigating
Yeah, the game.
the game of it all and being like, oh, they're agreeing to my rates a little too early. Let's hike those up and keep hiking until someone pushes back. And that was super fun. And then like getting that to a point where it's like, okay, I can do this full time.
And
So
what was the timeline from the day you posted your first TikTok? Like a couple months? Was it like a year?
no, it was, I'm very like risk averse. I'm not like a follow my heart and like leave my benefits and do all that stuff. I'm not like that at all. So it took, like a year and a half,
Got it.
2 years. And then I got asked to act in a show actually in LA. And I was like, I
Oh.
can't, I have no more PTO. I probably should end this peacefully. Yeah.
So I want to backtrack a little bit. When you were deciding how much to charge, because I know a lot of creators today have 20,000 followers. You can start making money. How did that work? How did you find your sweet spot?
Yeah. So I think one was the corporate humor female niche. There were very few, a lot of people do like corporate videos, women especially now, and that's awesome. I support any creator trying to create. I think when I started, it was kind of new and novel. And like I mentioned, these B2B brands where I'm like, oh, Dell, like these brands that don't work with a ton of other creators because either they're not in their niche, they're not clean, whatever the criteria is. I think I filled the criteria very well, and I was able to kind of like almost price discriminate in a way of like,
Sure.
if you want to work with me, you can, and if not, like work with someone else.
Did you just throw a number out there, or did you like, do some research, or like how was that first number you threw out there, or did you have someone?
Well, I'll tell you, my first number was $500, which is a joke. I worked like I had no idea. I was like, guys, I can buy dinner for like all the friends. Like we can just go get an awesome meal. Like I was so new. And then I actually, one of my best friends is an influencer. She's been doing it since college. I was able to talk to her. And I think like those conversations with other creators are the most important way to kind of learn. And there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens. There's a lot of like agents who will take advantage very early.
And stuff.
Yeah. And we rep ourselves. Annie is a full-time employee. We do it all in-house. I'm not signed with any agency. And I feel like you have more power as a creator that way.
Are you still signed with?
I still am.
Yeah.
With Viral Nation plug.
Yeah.
I understand the concern. I
feel like she's more put together than you are.
Yeah,
though.
no, I'm definitely reckless, and I'm the most irresponsible person I know.
Like he needs people that can answer emails, you know?
Yeah, well,
and can do those stuff and then tell them where to go.
I'm an artist.
He's
like
100% an artist.
I'm not an artist. Like I'm not a creator. Like I put the ring light up and I'm like, oh God, we have to do it again.
Really? I just like making stuff, and I've just come to the conclusion that I've just come to the conclusion that I'm just gonna focus on what I'm good at, and then just find people who could do the things I'm not good at better than me.
That's what I told you to do.
I love that.
You know, and again, he's been a huge mentor. So yeah.
I always say outsource things that aren't your core competency. Like the second I started and was able to afford it, I got an editor. The editing is not that like, I don't need to be doing that. I want to be on my phone as little as possible.
Yeah.
So how can I get every step of the way, get help in that way? And so getting a manager is awesome. And like, they're super helpful. I don't personally want to give 20% of a deal to someone who I think like I have the sales ability to do.
For me, it's like going back to the rates thing. At the very beginning, like same thing. I was given some really garbage rates, and I was like, I'm like too nice. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was crap. And then I was having these conversations with a handful of like agencies, and then they're like, oh no, these are like the rates you should be asking for. And and even then we can negotiate up. Yeah. I'm like, you could do that? That was kind of the value add for me. Like they're bringing in things that I couldn't bring, you know what I mean, to the table.
So how often do you create? How often are you shooting? How often do you have a schedule? You seem like someone with a calendar.
I have such a calendar.
I'm sure.
I only put makeup on like 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and I film then.
What day is it today?
It's
Wednesday.
What day is it? I know. I got gorgeous for you guys. You're welcome.
Stressed out that we broke your calendar.
I know. Gosh. No, I'm very intentional about film days. And I think having the comedy account, that's a lot of bits. It's very like bit forward, very scripted. I don't have to like show my day in the life. People aren't waiting to see like, who are you dating? Can you give us an update on your mom? Like all these very personal details that like my friends who are lifestyle creators, it's awesome that they do. I'm so fearful to give that away and never be able to get it back.
And you also understand your niche and are just in that lane.
Yeah, I'm like, these bits are working. Why share my, lingerie haul that no one asked for?
What's your favorite brand deal you've done so far?
My favorite brand partner, one of my favorite brand partners is Dell, I mentioned, but they found me from using my Dell laptop. Yeah. And they allow me to do the most organic feeling videos. Like it'll just be like, the coworker is working from anywhere, and I'm like by the pool, and I have a Dell laptop, and I don't have to say like powered by Intel or like any of these call to actions.
Really? I had to say powered by Intel.
You did?
So much.
Yeah, you did?
We were in Dell. We were at Dell for a year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of
strict.
Dude, it
guidelines.
was so much.
They were great. Dell,
they were great.
We love you.
Dell, we love you. You're the best.
Dell,
it was awesome.
I love you. I don't care about that.
But it was a lot. No, but it was a lot of
nothing to do with that.
It was a lot of like, man, I wouldn't have been able to get this deal done without my new Intel 24-bit, like whatever the line was.
Yeah.
Is that last year?
Last year.
It was 2022. That was a 2022 deal. Yeah.
So one thing that I do that I like encourage creators to do, who are the artists, who are just like, I'll film and I'll put something together and I'll, get all the CTAs done, is send a full script before. Yeah, I send like a full script of what I'm saying, what I'm doing. I don't want to reshoot. Again, I don't want to put makeup on Friday and have to make an edit saying powered by Intel. So I do as much as I can up front to get that approved. And I think the creators that do that are just so ahead of the game. There's never a reshoot. You always have that paper trail. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Were you always like that, or did you when did you think to bring on a manager and structure this? I guess your life as a creator. Did it always have structure, or? Well,
it always had structure because I was never I loved creating and I loved the comedy of it. Yeah. But when I realized okay, I want to do this full time, I have to get the finances in check. It never was I had to be serious about it. I never was I don't know, taking breaks or.
So do you think you could ever go back and work at an office now, or is your brand just so can't do it?
Well, it's hard. I mean, one of the questions you mentioned is is 9 to 5 a grind, and is it hard? Absolutely. Like being a creator I feel so lucky and blessed to be able to like wake up and control my schedule and run my company. Like that is not the reality for so many people. And so I think, yes, I would like to think I can go back into an office. Would I want to? No, I'd love to continue to run this business and start new businesses and be able to have that control.
You know, I don't know. People talk about the 9-to-5 grind. I mean, I miss a 9-to-5. Like I worked in construction, you know, before this, and at 5:01, like you put the hammer down, you put work down.
Clock
like
out.
The hammer doesn't call you.
Yeah.
You know, the sledgehammer doesn't call you. Like the dumpster isn't like, hey, dude, it's 10 p.m. You got to come work on me. You know, like you at 5 p.m. you clock out. Like I feel like it is a little bit of a lie. And I think you're seeing that now with a lot of creator burnout, right? And like kind of these creators and these influencers, and it's like, oh wow, I haven't seen anything from them since like 2022 or 2021. And then you kind of track them down. You just say like, wow, they really, really pulled back because it's, you know, the 9-to-5 seems like a grind because you have to do it. Yeah. But then when it's on you, then it's like, okay, well, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I guess I just get started now, and then I'm going till 11 p.m. and then I do that all the time. And now I'm chasing brand deals because now my lifestyle has increased, and I got that Tesla and that wasn't free. And then I got this and that wasn't free. And then I want to go over here and I got to pay for that. And then slowly but surely you work 7 days a week from, you know, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then it's like, man, I want to put my hammer down. No, I'm just saying, maybe not his life, but I'm talking, you know, you talk to a lot of people who like that entrepreneurial like dream does take a significant amount of like life sacrifice though, no?
Totally. Well, and you've obviously built an empire. Like you're
empire.
always on.
I told you it's an empire.
It's an empire. Andy? I mean, you're never
Adrian's
stopping.
An empire.
It's
agree.
always on. Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm team empire.
Totally. And I love it. Like I would love if I was in your position and had an empire under me and around me, like for sure, there's no rest for the weary, like 100%. I think entrepreneurship versus like influencing is different. I think when you're like starting companies and it's all relying on you versus when you're like creating and going to the fun events and like there's a little fluff there. Like I've experienced having come from a 9-to-5 when I was doing that plus creating. And then I took the 9-to-5 off the table and I was like, wow, I have time for a workout. Like this is, I can be healthy. This is great. I can cook a meal. Like that was liberating.
Well, what's your, like, it's always going to change, but what's your current end game? Like what outcome are you currently obsessed with?
I mean, I'd like to be able to build enough success and wealth to step away from the content side of it and be able to like found like a company that can live on without me being in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I think that's like the goal. And whether it's a clothing line of workwear or, you know, I'm advising for a portfolio of companies and that's enough to sustain and one of them takes off. I don't know. So
the goal is to create a product or service.
Yeah, I think so.
It makes sense. Like that, I think it's like the trajectory, like as you're seeing a lot of these big creators, like the Mr. Beast of the world, the Emma Chamberlains, like they're making less and less content and focusing on building these legitimate businesses that are going to take over the world.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
And it's silly as a creator to think like, I'm going to be walking down a red carpet when I'm 85 and people will care about me as much then. Like you have to build this kind of, this game plan for your future. Like, I don't know if my face will have relevance in 20 years. I could get a facelift. I hope I can get a facelift. I'm praying for that. But like, these things will change and like people won't care as much. I don't know.
What's the VA business? Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just going to talk. So Expand VA, I think that's a company you started for helping influencers with virtual assistants, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So it started from my own personal experience of wanting a side hustle. I think everyone wants a side hustle. Everyone in New York has like 3 jobs. It feels like everyone I talk to. And additionally, creators being like, either I'm working a full-time job and I just started making these stupid little videos and this is actually way harder than I thought, as you were saying. Or, you know, I don't have an agent, I don't have a manager, I don't have that help to outsource. Is there someone in between who could build a travel itinerary for me when I'm going to an event, who can manage potentially the brand deals if that's, you don't want to go with an agency. Sometimes it's editing videos and just anything in between. So trying to kind of provide that mutual kind of contractor relationship.
How do I apply? I need a virtual assistant.
I will get you on. All
right, I'm going to follow up with you.
So do you contract with these? Where are they? Where are they based? The Philippines, Albania?
No,
everywhere.
No, they're all US based right now. Because you're like talking with the creator every day. Like it's not, there's not a lot of, like sometimes they're almost managing the creator. Like you need to I think as the artist, as the creative, you need help with that sort of, they're mostly like gals who work in corporate who
Sure.
are helping on the side,
Got it.
who are able to be like, this is your content block. You need to film this brand deal today. Kind of
Virtual
Wrong.
creative is hard, but I think
Yeah.
administrative tasks, and now especially now with AI and systems and processes that can just empower those virtual assistants to make the lives even better of the people they work for, is just only going to get stronger,
Got it.
right? And I think that's what Peter Thiel said, right? The greatest businesses of the next generation are going to be those that use technology to empower people, not replace them.
Whoa.
Yeah. Great
Yeah,
line.
but I think that's a solid line. It definitely influences us here as we think about things every day. It's
Totally.
like you're not trying to create systems to replace people, which will then just break the system. You're trying to use current systems to enable people just to do more,
Yeah.
right, and give
Yeah.
them more support.
So
Definitely.
are you creating a marketplace for people who want to be VAs? And then like are you like the Fiverr of, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's not that big at all. So that's
Okay.
a very, very small scale. And it's a lot of like white glove, like kind of my personal network of creators. And
You like are vetting and
there,
stuff.
yeah. And so there's, we haven't been able to automate and do these things with tech yet,
Sure.
that we can just get the assistant from anywhere in the world and we trust them to do it because it's creators from my network who I don't want to let down. And so
Yeah.
there's these current kind of barriers to entry right now that we're working through with expanding.
Yeah, no, I think that'll be huge if you can turn that into some kind of platform where someone can go in, just like what Andy was saying, where it's like I really, and you could then have consultants who help people understand the help that they actually need. Because I think sometimes people don't actually know.
Mhm.
Like they think it's I need help with video editing, but it really is like they need help with everything else but that, because they're actually good at video editing, which is why they know a good edit versus a bad edit. So it's like maybe you need help with A, B, and C so that you can actually focus on what you're creatively good at.
Yeah.
And sometimes
that's
people just
interesting.
don't understand. And so
Like-
helping them, try to understand like what's the root of the problem goes a long way.
So like, could
Yeah.
I get a VA to like just not I guess manage my inbox? Like my managers, they manage my inbox, but they're just looking for like specific deals and stuff.
Yeah.
I, as you know, have a hard time responding to emails or communicating in general. It's been a problem. Can I?
You know what's weird though? But you
Okay.
know the emails are there.
No,
You
it's the anxiety.
It's the
block.
anxiety. I was
Yeah,
just literally about to
totally.
say
Reply
that.
within 20 seconds.
Dude, action.
I wish I could, dude.
Action is the antidote to anxiety. That's going to be your next tattoo.
I
I'm-
love that.
Unless I got a VA who can do those things for me.
Yeah, but
Oh,
right? Because
God.
what's going to happen is everyone thinks that more people creates, is going to fix all your problems, but more people is more problems, And what people then don't do is even with a VA or an actual employee, like if you don't take the time to actually invest in them to set the right expectations and train them and teach them,
Totally.
and then you just run around assuming they know your inbox or they know your life, then you're just going to be frustrated. And then you're going to be like, screw it, I got to do it all by myself. And then you're just not going to do it anyway. So you got to really, really put in the time with the
processes
people.
in place. Yeah.
But see, that's why I think your idea, your business is different from all those things because it's your personal network of people that that actually do work. And it's like for us, when people hire us to sell an apartment or a house, they're hiring our personal network, right?
Mhm.
So people will trust your brand that your people are good because they know you selected them.
That's true. I
I
mean,
think-
my network versus, the network you need is very small, who can afford like an $18 million listing. Like hopefully expanding like a virtual assistant company would be able to put those things in place to grow more people. Like we build like a very personalized onboarding kit when they join. That's like a 40 slide, like how do you get into your inbox? What do you
don't.
want to respond to things? Whatever. So then they can take it and
Got it.
run. And that's the customization that you need
white
to,
glove
to
service.
go. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's too taxing to
We'll
grow.
definitely talk after this.
Yeah,
'cause
he's getting an assistant
I
now.
thought about hiring an actual assistant, but I was like, maybe like let me start virtually and then go from there. So
It's too awkward to have someone in your
so awkward.
space.
It's
So
You
really
just want to
hard.
pick the 5 things you need someone to do, or the 3 things, and don't have them do anything else.
yeah.
I used to be like I need you to handle inbox, calendar, and like one other thing, and just start that way. Start simple, right, and then start to branch out from there. Otherwise, you'll be completely overwhelmed.
Can corporate America function on a 4-day work week?
I think
Corporate Natalie. What do you have to say?
I love a 4-day work week. If you're grinding and you're working 40, you're shoving 40 hours into 4 days.
Is it like Murphy's Law? Like, is that what it's called, Murphy's Law? You
I
can
wouldn't
get the
use
same
Murphy's
amount of-
Law for that. No. No.
What's that?
Murphy's Law is whatever will happen, whatever can happen will happen. That's
Okay.
Murphy's Law.
That's not the one.
You're
I
looking for
wouldn't
the one
apply that to the
things
4-day
take
work
as
week.
long as you.
Yeah, things will take as long as.
Oh, that's like it starts with a V. Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
It's we use that all the time. If you give yourself a month, it'll take you a month. If you give yourself 4 days, it'll take you 4 days.
Have you heard that? Is it?
I love that.
Yeah.
Look it
Yeah.
up. It's like it's not
don't even know what type on
vasectomy. It's a
Google.
different V word.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
You know, when I look at you, I think
Vasectomy.
vasectomy a lot. I don't know why.
It's got 2 kids. That's probably what it
Because you had
is.
2 kids when you were seven.
23.
How old are you?
23.
23. Okay, just use the internet. It'll teach you things. It's helpful. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
I'll
Yeah, I
sign
don't
for
know
this.
though. But I think the problem is you say, okay, so there's people right now who will work through the weekends and there's people who won't. So you say, all right, it's a 4-day work week. You're going to get the people who say, all right, well now my weekend is 3 days. I'm going to work through those. And you're going to have people who don't. And I don't think it'll actually be like corporate cost savings, which is the only reason that any company would actually push for it.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's different, lines of work, like an engineer who needs to get X lines of code done by the end
Yeah.
of the week. And that's in their Gantt chart. And that's whatever they have to do for the week. If you can do that in 4 days, great.
Yep.
Like if you have to take a meeting to sell on a Friday, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Because that is the only time.
What I actually think happens is I think by 2027, 50% of the workforce in the United States is going to consider themselves in some way, shape, or form part of the gig economy. So they're going to have a 1099, whether it's
Okay.
their full-time job or a part-time or a side hustle, like you were saying.
50%.
50%, right?
Is this based on, this is you?
No, I
saying?
didn't make this up. I don't know. It's like census data.
Okay. Love.
Right?
Awesome.
And so what I think then becomes really interesting is, and I was just talking to the CEO of there's a tech company and they just all moved to New York because now you can work from home in New York is actually super fun. And so we have all these people moving to New York now who are like, oh, I can work from home. I'm going to go try out New York City. I don't need to be in Portland or LA or San Francisco or Dallas or Chicago. Let's go to New York because I could never get a job in New York before, but now I can work from home. That's fun. Let's go live in Dumbo, where all the photos are taken at the bridge. So we have all these people moving to New York to work from home, which I don't think any of us ever expected, but it's now happening. But he
crazy.
runs a company called Gumroad. It's pretty big. It's a dev company. And so I asked him, I'm like, how many employees do you have? He has a lot. But then he clarified, he's like, oh, but none of them are on payroll. No one's full-time. He's like, everyone's an independent contractor.
Oh, interesting.
Because if I have payrolled, and so if I have salaried, engineers, they are now no longer incentivized to get things done fast because now it's a constant dare between try finding someone else like me versus try daring me to quit. And so then they're like, oh, okay, so I just started. They'll probably keep me for at least a year. I'm now incentivized to keep this project going for at least a year. So he saves a significant amount of money by just doing contract work and finding the best people wherever they are globally and then just paying them hourly. And he's like, you have no idea how much faster things move. And as long as you have somebody who is a PM, so like a project manager for something, then other than that, there's just so many people you can find out there. And I almost think that that's like a direction a lot of companies start to move in.
Yeah.
Or you don't even need a 4-day work week. Actually, every single day is now a work day, depending on where you are in the world and what role you are using at this particular company. Like you're going to have people who are full on the same way we have in education now. We have it's 24 hours now. So you have people all through the night. You have people all through the weekends. They're just not in New York.
Yeah, that's super interesting. A lot of things you said were surprising to me. I want to come and pay New York rent prices to sit in my tiny apartment versus like
And pay New York City taxes.
you pay. Yeah, like that's
crazy.
shocking, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's a trade now where they're saying, I'm actually coming for the energy and for what makes New York, New York. Because it's not like the 600 square foot apartment. It's I get to live in Dumbo. I get to be on Central Park. I get to kind of go do this. And I don't think anyone's doing it. Maybe some people are doing it forever. But I think it's also like this unique opportunity where we had a lot of people in New York obviously leave during COVID, but more people have now come here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you only hear horns, because they don't know how to fucking drive in this city now. And they're all from their weird states with roads that don't have cars on them, and they don't know what to do and they're figuring it out. But it's become
That's a new horn.
That
That
guy,
would be a horn.
That guy's
that
from
person
Tennessee.
followed you
Yeah.
from San Francisco.
That guy's from Tennessee.
I think it's
super
cool what you were
interesting.
just saying because I feel like it also enables people to build their own personal brands because obviously they want to be hired again, so that they're themselves are their brands. For example, with Serhant, one of the reasons I was attracted to this company specifically is because we were able to build our own personal brands and like fully go with it. And if someone's working off of like hourly as a freelancer, they want to do good. They want to show their power so that they can be hired again and again and again. But then if 1 month they don't want to work, they can just not get hired again for that month and then go do something and come back later. So I think that's cool what you're saying. It allows more freedom. And I think Gen Z loves that.
That's Gen Z for sure.
Yeah.
It's that they have more option.
Yeah.
It's not that they're lazy or they're annoying or they're difficult, and we can make fun of Gen Z all day long. It's they just have the most options that any generation has ever had. Ever.
So true.
What are you hearing from like people who are like post grad? They're like trying to get into this world, because I'm sure you have this community of just like people who go to you. Again, you're the
what do you
guiding
do?
light.
Post graduation, graduate high school, you graduate college. What do you tell people?
Well, it's tough because I think there are companies offering the very cushy choice, the hybrid model or the fully remote model. And for some people, that's what they want. And then I think it's hard when we see videos on TikTok that go viral. I don't know if you've seen these of like Gen Z, people crying, like, I'm expected to work 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like,
so dramatic and annoying.
Have you seen this video?
This is my first job, like my first 9 to 5 job after college. And I'm in person and I'm commuting in the city and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford living in the city right now. So that's off the table. Like, fucking duh. If I was able to walk to work and it'd be fine.
Is this
But I'm
fake?
not. So
I feel like when I see these, I feel like they're fake too.
I get on the train at
No, this went
7:30
super
and I don't get
viral.
home till like 6:15 earliest, and then like I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset.
Preach, sister.
Okay, so, and the comments are what? On her side, or the comments are grow up, or the comments are
It's very mixed.
it's very mixed.
But she went viral because of her take on the 9 to 5, and I was going to bring that up earlier. But that's, I mean, girl, I get it. I get the struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. And it's a tough adjustment when you're doing your entire school very successfully online. And then you have that adjustment. And I think managers that have the empathy to try to work with that and teach and, foster a healthy working environment are good. I think there are other companies that are like, sorry.
What's your take, buddy?
I envy the person who can make a significant amount of money by working 5 to 10 hours a week. Like, if you figure that out, if you're that smart, if you have a talent for X, Y, or Z, and you can do that, then like, God bless you forever. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you can't, then I don't think I don't think you really earn the right to complain. Like, because I see that, and then I also see the mom of 3 who does have 3 jobs, who's complaining about job number 3 and the atrocious workplace environment she has to go to for job number 2, and she's taking the subway, and inflation has pushed up the cost of milk, and she can no longer afford her car, and she just lost it. And I put those 2 next to each other, and that person, to me, that you just showed me, seems super, super tone deaf.
Yeah.
Is one. I mean, that is like mass white privilege. Like, not to go into that, but it's just like that's all I see when I hear that. And we have people come to us all the time, like, oh, I want to sell apartments and then just go do this. What do I need to do? I'm like, you need to be here every day at 7 a.m. and you need to do it 12 hours a day until you get to that point. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm like, so then don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go do whatever you want to do. Go be free. And like, oh no, but I want the things. I'm like, so then I don't understand. I don't know where this conversation is going.
Totally. And it's just like managing expectations. Like, if you want to be a millionaire and have all these riches and successes and be able to have control of your schedule and do these things, you need to work hard in the beginning to get there. So I do agree with that. I spoke to a bunch of interns, and a lot of people were asking me, like, when do you know when to leave your job to do content full time?
Oh my God.
And this is an intern conference where their bosses are in the audience. I'm like, this is a hot mic. Your boss is here. Like, you're gonna ask me that on stage right now.
That's this guy.
I was shocked. And they're so confident, and they I was like, you have to figure out your finances first. You have to figure out a lot of things before you take that jump. And you're an intern right now. So you haven't even gone into the full-time portion. So there are, I'm not sure how I feel about that video. I haven't quite decided, but there are definitely cases where it's like, you have to go to your job. Yeah, it's all relative.
I was the opposite though. I just jumped into it with $30,000 of debt and like ran with it because like, I think like a lot of times people let fear rule their life. And the fear of like not having that stability and having everything sorted out like stops them from doing it. Mm-hmm. And I do feel, to go back a little bit, I do feel like I would be okay with a 9 to 5 job, but the only reason I'm not okay with it is because I don't want to be told when I have to work. And I think a lot of people my age feel the same way. Like I wake up like 8:30 to like,
Whoa.
I know, I wake up late.
You wake up at 8:30?
yeah, I wake up pretty late.
What time do you go to bed?
2 a.m.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I already ran 2 miles at that point, but
Well,
dude,
I know you wake up super early,
that's a
but
lie.
that's another thing.
I was gonna say
That's
a lie.
another thing.
Why lie?
I really respect what you do with the like waking up super early, but I don't like it when people say that that's what you have to do to be successful because
I
I'm
don't say that's
no,
what you
I know
have
I
to
know you
do.
don't say that, but there's people that say that like
sure.
the 5 a.m. club and it's like a cult.
That's
and, like,
the toxic
it's super
hustle.
cool.
Yeah.
It's super cool, but I
Yeah.
want to go to sleep at 2 a.m. because I work better at night and I do not want to be awake at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm strong about that.
I think that's like a really interesting use case because you're obviously grinding and like you're just doing it when you want to. And I think there's also an argument of like, well, we have an 8 a.m. meeting, so you maybe have to shift your schedule to do
Well, yeah,
that.
if I have an 8 a.m., I'll wake up,
yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's always it's interesting. But I guess you have that flexibility here. You fostered such a flexible working
I
environment.
see. I foster a flexible, healthy work
Look at
environment.
that.
Look at that.
He's
Exactly.
only working till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Only.
So lucky.
Only.
So lucky.
Only. Yeah.
Parkinson's law. Sorry, we'll go
What's it
back to
called?
that. Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I can't read it.
That's
yeah.
right. It's not
Wow.
a V. It wasn't vasectomy. It was Parkinson's.
It's-
Yeah. It's whatever. Yeah. However.
Read it out loud.
I
However-
can't read. I'm just kidding.
It's however-
Is the idea that work expands to fill the time allotted for its completion.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so true.
It's like I'm going to clean my house. It's going to take a week, and it takes a week, right? So I have until 5 p.m. to clean my house, and you'll get it done by 5 p.m. You know, not factoring in quality, I guess. But
Do you time block yourself with how much you have to do during the day?
Ryan is like that type of dude who's like up at 4:30, hits the gym, sends 14 emails,
Yeah.
and then it's like 7 a.m. and then starts his whole day, and then has every 15 minutes planned.
Really?
His food comes in containers that are like predetermined the week before. It's crazy.
Yeah, way to make me sound
Yeah,
so
yeah.
No,
psycho.
tell me more. I'm obsessed.
He's
I
in
love
bed
it.
at exactly 9:58
That's not true.
on the dot.
That's not true. I go to bed at different times depending on the day. I just don't know. I don't know another way. And I have this argument with my wife all the time because because the work never turns off. That's the problem when you're also an entrepreneur. Like the work, you have to then make a conscious effort to turn it off because there is no hammer. Like the hammer is your phone and it's always right there. And when you're in sales and you're an entrepreneur, then like your life can change with one email. Your life can change with one phone call.
Yeah.
And our brand was kind of set up a long time ago as being like the most responsive and being quick. And it's all about speed to lead. And then that can become addictive and can also like break you, right? Because then you're just always chasing that next hit, right? The next hit. Oh, if I put up one more ad about one more apartment, then I could get one more call and then you go. And then you die, right? From just being completely burnt out that way. But
Are you a single point of failure? Like if you logged off for 2 weeks, would it be
logged
okay?
off. I mean, there's a lot of people here now. I mean, there's like 500 agents and 115 employees now.
Nice.
You've created good systems.
And we've created good systems. There's definitely a key man insurance, which is heavy that I have to pay for now in case I get hit by a bus or something, because that would be bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're not like at that level yet where if
Wait,
Ryan
what's
doesn't
key
make
man
it.
insurance?
Key man insurance, it's against the key man. So if something happens to me, then everything can get paid for and everyone will figure it out. Right. So like I was going to go skydiving for our Black Friday course. And
Oh, we should do it still.
I can't. It's in the key man.
I
Key
used
man
to-
insurance is
yeah.
cut out.
So I
Can't do it.
I used to work in business continuity, and we'd try to remove single points of failure from like large corporations.
Yeah.
Of the IT guy with all the passwords, exactly what you're saying, the key man.
Yes.
And
Oh,
so, but
interesting.
what I like give talks about and what I actually encourage people to try to become in their jobs, even when they're starting out, is a single point of failure. If you're not there, you want something to break or crumble and people notice that you're gone.
Sure.
Like,
And I think
like being indispensable.
Being indispensable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you want to take a week vacation or you want to go skydiving and they say absolutely not.
Well,
Can't do
things
it.
definitely. Well, the skydiving, it's just because it's dangerous. The vacation I can do, but things definitely slow down. And there's so much value add for me still in the business for now. But the goal is like my end game is to get it to a point by 2030 where if I'm away for 6 months, people are just sort of like that guy, like he's always. I don't know what else he's doing. He's doing other things, but the company has gotten to a point where everything is just kind of moving and I can be like that face and do what I need to do without feeling like I have to be here at 7 a.m. to keep it moving. So eventually we'll get there. Eventually. But it's interesting. But I do think that there's greater optionality that gets created today. And I think my parents are in town. They were just here actually, walking around, auditing. And my dad, I think he just turned 75. And there was like, what was the option? Like he had his first kid when he was 19, you know, and then it was like, you get a job, you get a W-2, you put kids through school, and you just keep going until you don't go anymore.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was no, like, there was no other options. It's almost like when you go to like a restaurant that has like 5 things on the menu. At first you're like, oh, this is annoying. What if I don't like it? But then you're kind of like, I appreciate not having choice.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like, just tell me what to eat.
It's why so many arranged marriages work.
Do
They're
they
like,
work?
Do they work though?
What's-
in
do
India?
they
Are you
work?
kidding me?
I wonder what the.
Well, but I know, but do they work, or are they like they work? You know?
I think so. I think we have too much choice with dating apps, with everything.
Yes.
I think it's like, I would love to be set up by my parents. Are you kidding me? I trust them
I
the
don't. What
most.
if you don't like them? What if it's like The Notebook,
You
and then
don't-
it's like
okay,
James
then
Marsden?
Then
you're
there's
like
no
Book
consent,
Gosling.
and it's totally different. But
Right. So
I think they
arranged
do a lot
marriages,
of
but with
vetting.
consent.
okay, consent with everything
Bring-
you do. Consent with
Sure,
everything
heard
you
it.
do.
Corporate Natalie, bring
Guys,
back
what
arranged
What are you
marriages.
trying to get me to
Clip
say?
it.
Of course, consent. Yes.
Got it. Just
But-
making
But what
But
you
I
said
do-
about options is super interesting.
But option, there's
yeah.
too many. There's too much choice.
Yeah, a lot of times in New York, for example, like people will be dating someone and then they won't be like fully committed to them because they know that there's so many other people.
You had a
And-
clip go super viral. Actually, it was
I did?
it actually wasn't your podcast. Unfortunately, it was some other. You went on someone else's podcast and you were talking about how like you notice billionaires when they go to dinner, they don't look
They
at
don't
the
look at the
menu.
menu.
They're
Yeah,
just
they don't
like,
look
just
at the
give me the
menu.
best.
Never.
And it's just the not having to make a choice or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
remember
because
what
your brain can only make so many big choices a day, and so they reserve as much energy as they can for the most consequential decisions that they have to make. That at those levels can like move mountains, like buy companies, right? It's like one of those guys that day was buying a company that you would definitely know by name, like that day, and his decision was like to keep the brand or not keep the brand and break it up. That's a major decision. So then when he goes to dinner, he knows he's going to a restaurant that's really, really nice, a menu that's obviously nice. There's a lot of people here, and he just tells the chef to bring him the best. They don't even look at it. They have no time. And every conversation is over text. Anything on the phone is like to an extreme level of importance that money is just over text. I think also for record keeping, right? But
Wow.
the
all over
top
text.
comment on this video.
It's so bad. Don't read them.
It's funny. Your whole thing is like, when I go to restaurants, I just say, give me the best. And the top comment is, sir, this is a Wendy's.
True though. True. See? True.
Oh, the internet's undefeated, man.
I love it. The
It's
comment
so good.
sections. That people are so creative.
I go to the comments first now to
Yeah, me
see
too.
if the video is worth watching.
I need to vet with
Yeah.
comments. Of course, you're like, what did
Yeah.
the comments say about that video?
Yeah, because if the comments are like, "This is stupid," I'm like, "Oh, thank God!" Right?
Thank
then
God
you
I
just keep
saved
going.
that. How often do you have blocked time to scroll?
In my calendar,
To scroll like TikTok? Like when is your free time to scroll?
I'll do so. Like in the morning, early. I'll go through. Sometimes I'll also use like TikTok is. 'Cause I don't really watch TV anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So TikTok is then kind of like TV,
Totally.
and then you just kind of like put it on in the background usually. But then you just get hit with so many ads now.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Everything's
everything's an
selling.
ad, and then every influencer has got a brand deal, and so I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay,
fuck
there-
those guys.
yeah, there he is. Oh,
Just kidding.
there's Adrian. He's
Hit
going
me
to
up.
turn trash into oh, he's doing it for a brand. Now I'm being sold.
Yes.
Damn.
You know?
Going back to the comments, I have a confession.
Oh,
Are you a troll?
No, I have a second account and when I have a video, when I post it, I'll
You'll
wait like an
comment.
hour and then I'll comment something. I'll be like, oh my God, the pull at the end was so cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
when people read the comments,
but everyone
they're-
does that. We do that. I mean, that's what do you think? What,
Okay,
what do
cool.
you
I
think
didn't know
all
it
our
was just
studios
me.
people do all day?
Dude,
I see
that-
every video I post up. I see everyone who works here who's like, oh my God, the end. Oh, it's insane. It's been like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think when we look for a new copywriter, like that's where fuck LinkedIn. Like we should just go straight to TikTok comments and just find whoever is writing these like banger comments because it's the same person on all the
Yeah.
videos. We should just hire them. That's probably how Burger King and like Wendy's found their Twitter
their
person.
Twitter.
Just on comment sections, honestly.
Yeah.
Just
Just on
saying.
comments. Just on comments.
Ryan, what's your time look like?
I mean, I never have time, so I'm okay for now. I think I have
Okay,
3
okay,
o'clock.
okay.
but
He's
I'll-
like, I'm begging to leave. Is that? Yeah, this
No,
has
I'm
been
not.
No,
horrible.
Ryan's
I'm not begging
schedule's
to
super
leave.
annoying.
Everything
so I
is
saw it
just
was, like,
everything
3
is just
o'clock.
scheduled over one
Oh,
another.
can we show the camera that calendar?
Don't
That's
you wanna throw up?
insane. I want
mean-
to throw up.
It's been the bane of my existence for the last 5 years.
No, I just have a lot to do. well, these are appointments. This is not even the work. And that's the problem
Mhm.
is that like when the appointments stop is when you actually then have time to do the work. So I would love if anyone's watching this, any advice anybody has to like, how do you balance the work with the things you actually have to do, you know? And
Yeah.
I used to try to do that. I used to time block. Like I would have blocks in time to like do email, like 3 blocks. And then, but then they always get overruled by things that have to be done in person on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so then I just end up having email assistants and just different assistants and different help, you know?
Good.
Natalie, what's next for you? What's 2024 look like for you? Any goals?
Yeah, should we business plan with you right
so,
now?
Let's business
yeah,
plan.
can you give me some?
Yeah, what are the
give me some
OKRs? What are the
advice?
KPIs from
Okay.
working
Yeah,
from
give me all
home,
that.
corporate Natalie?
Okay.
Let's figure it out.
So I've been getting a little into fashion,
Oh.
workwear. When I give these like talks and conferences, a lot of people are asking, especially Gen Z, like, what do I wear to the office? Like, I've literally never been in an office setting. So starting like some sort of workwear line, whether it's co-branded deal with
That's
a
cool.
company that I love or myself doing it, which I have 0 experience in, probably the wrong decision.
That's cool.
Would be awesome to like help provide some options for people going to the office. I think also like starting a podcast. Do you know Corporate Bro, Ross
Mhm.
Pomeranz?
Mhm.
He's another corporate creator, sales guy. Him and I are going to start a podcast
That's
at the end of
cool.
this
Oh, love
year.
it.
So that'll be fun to sit with the mic and do that. And then maybe write like a longer form piece of work, whether it's like YouTube or like a real show. Writing kind of sucks right now in the industry, but writing something that can apply to a broader scale would be cool. I went to the Golden Globes. I was like, I respect these people so much. Like, I
Yeah.
want to write a show.
Yeah.
So give me some advice.
Mm-hmm.
Scrap all of that. Start
Yeah.
over.
Do it all. Do it all. I think the best advice I've ever given to anyone is like just really, really having a clear understanding of like, what is your core identity? That's your oak tree. Everything else is a branch. And how big of a branch is it going to be? How small of a branch is it going to be? Or maybe it's just a leaf, right? But like always making sure you never forget what that core oak tree is. And then just building out that way. I think a lot of people then get really like far too diversified. And then you get confused brand message. And then people don't know who you are.
And then your audience is like, wait, I like him for this
Yeah,
thing.
we've had that
but-
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you go into it.
I love the oak tree reference. It's
Yeah.
interesting because like I do Corporate Natalie is my name, but now I'm starting to do like, mom pickleball bits and the friend who, whatever.
Yeah.
And expanding comedy is like important. Is holding on to the Corporate Natalie name vital? Because I built it all on that. Would you say?
I think so. Yeah, I wouldn't give it up until you get to a point where you earn the next name. I think people try to jump onto like, oh, I'm just gonna go to my own name, and you do it in a vacuum. You do it in a bubble.
Totally.
Just remember, like people know you for like what you are.
Do,
You
yeah.
know, I think every change, everything you want to do, any other business, any name change, you just got to get to a point where you've earned it, and you'll know at the time.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Just keep earning the right with that like community, and then once you've earned, like Emma Chamberlain can do anything she wants, and her audience is gonna fuck with it.
Totally. That's a great example.
Yeah. So like, just take the time and like invest in your community, and then you could do whatever you want later.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the way that I look at it.
Yeah,
Earn
just
the
make
right, right?
friends, right? Just be everyone's best friend, and they'll follow you. Yeah.
Damn. That was
Thanks for
good.
being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
This was
coming.
great.
Woo!
Yeah, thanks
Another
for
one in
hanging
the
out.
books.
Do what?
I said another one in the books.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.